Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. I'm listening. Okay, so I hope you all are having a having a what is it? Black History Month. A great Black History Month. So thank you for being here. Please hit the like button and sub to the channel if you haven't already. Hello, Cindy. How are you today? Hi, Paula, Sweet Potato, and Cherie. Oh, I'm so glad y'all here. So I wanted to show this video real quick. I don't even know if you all are going to be able to hear, but let's see. Let's try. Let's see.
You so black. When you smile, the stars come out.
Hey, Gloom Cookie.
The God come out, black is not. Black when it's wrong and black when it's right. Black is pyramids and mathematics. Black is melanized and magic. Black is televised and in need of drastic black advancement. Black enhances, black with chances, black with privilege, black with pride, black on purpose on the black hand side. That's beautiful. Black and blessed and highly favored. Praise the Lord. Black and blessed. Black and so much more. Black and nothing less. Black and educated. Black is brilliant. Black is strong. Black is resilient. Black is song. Black is infinite, like hip hop or space. Black is grace. Black is love. Black makes babies. Black babies grow up. Black is tough. Black is hard to do. Black is me. Black is you. Black is not something we get to choose, but it is something we get to cherish. It's something we get to wear, and we get to rock this with honor. I'm black like my granddaddy and my great-great-great-great-grandma. Black is that lift every voice and sing. Black is that letting your freedom ring and resound. Black is adjective, adverb, color, and noun. You so black. Oh, you so black. When you smile, the stars come out. Baby, you so black. When you're born, the God come out.
Well, happy Black History Month. Okay. All right. Well, there we go. So, okay. So every Sunday during this month, Black History Month, I will be, like I used to do, is talk about or show something that has to do with Black history. And I thought that poem was really nice, and pretty much, talk about the struggles sometimes that we and the beauty of our culture and who we are as Black people. So hello, Monique B. So happy Black History Month. Okay. All right. So let's see here. So tonight we are going to get into what pretty much was going on this week. Of course, with the Trumpster himself. So let me get my little thing up here. Hold on. Get my slide together. So we're going to call him FOTUS, not POTUS, FOTUS, felon of the United States. Okay, that's what he is, and that's who he is, and that's what we're going to call him. Over here, I don't know what everybody else is calling him, but that's what we call him over here. FOTUS from here on out. Hey, Mel NYC, how you doing? So FOTUS has been on a rampage. Him and his friend, the alien, and we know who the alien is. That is Elon Musk. They have been ripping and running. This is 2025, y'all. Project 2025 in full effect. Okay, Trump White House marks Black History Month while Defense Department declares Identity Month dead. So, of course, earlier this week, they were talking about they were not going to celebrate Black History Month or anything that had to do with DEI and all of that. But lo and behold, I guess he had a conversation. Maybe he had a conversation with Snoop Doggy Dogg or one of those other people that performed at one of his events that he had, honoring him and his crypto. And so they went ahead and they decided to celebrate Black History Month. Okay. Or honor it. Right. But I was reading earlier that he basically, he was honoring it, and he was writing in this memos or whatever. He was saying he was capitalizing Black History Month. Black, the word Black was capitalized with the B as Black History Month. But when he talked about Black Americans, he used the lowercase b. So I don't know what that means. Maybe, to be honest with you, he's not a very educated man. So I don't think he really thought about it that way. But they are saying that he did it on purpose. I don't know how true that is, because I don't really expect much out of FOTUS. Okay. So the Trump White House has issued a proclamation recognizing February as Black History Month. Around the same time, the Defense Department issued guidance declaring identity months dead. The Trump White House issued a proclamation Friday recognizing February as Black History Month. Around the same time, the Defense Department issued guidance declaring identity months dead. The conflicting messages came as President Donald Trump, I don't call him president, Trump has been targeting diversity, equity, and inclusion programs for removal in the first weeks of his administration. He has referred to DEI initiatives as discrimination and insisted that the country must instead move toward a merit-based society. Now, we know that there's no such thing as merit-based society in his world, right? Because everyone that he has, hey, Gwen, everyone that he has put in place, I mean, they are all pretty much people that he chose, and they are not well equipped to even have those positions, right? So they are basically, they are not diversity, but they are definitely not educated people or well diverse on their positions. Okay. All right. The White House proclamation calls for public officials, educators, librarians, and all the people of the United States to observe this month with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. Though there is no elaboration on what constitutes appropriate. Yeah. So what constitutes appropriate when it comes to Black History Month? Only talk about, Martin Luther King. I don't know. But the real issue here is that while he, in my opinion, someone said something to him and said, sir, this is how you're going to have to play this game, because they're playing a game with us right now, right? And we are actually being bombarded with a lot of stuff that he's doing, that he's signing, and all these executive orders that the game that he's playing. And so I think someone must have came back to him and said, I don't think you should get rid of Black History Month. I don't think that's smart, right? So anyway, a news release from the Defense Department titled Identity Months Dead at DOD says official resources, including working hours, will no longer be used to mark cultural awareness months. Okay, that means you're going to have to work on Black History Month. Black History Month, Women's History Month, and National Disability Employment Awareness Month were among the events listed as now barred. So there will be no celebration over there on any of these months. We are proud of our warriors and their history, but we will focus on the character of their service instead of their immutable characteristics, the Defense Department released. The declaration also listed golfer Tiger Woods as an American great. Sorry. Saying he was among those who have pushed the boundaries of excellence in their respective fields, paving the way for others to follow. The National Black History Month, as America prepares to enter a historic golden age, the proclamation said, golden age I want to extend my tremendous gratitude to Black. See how the Black, the B is not capitalized when it should be, Americans, for all they have done to bring us to this moment, and for the many future contributions they will make as we advance into the future of limitless possibilities under my administration. Okay, so you want to give your gratitude to the Black Americans for all they have done to bring us to this moment. Everything that Black people have done to bring you to this moment have been on the backs of slaves who built this country so you can be at this moment basically robbing, stealing from the American people. Okay, you are at the moment where you get lifted on this pedestal, and Black people don't get, Black American people, with your audacity to put the B in lowercase. Now I'm thinking that he did it on purpose. And I feel like I'm getting a little heated here. Trying not to. But this is very disingenuous and disrespectful to Black American people, to the slaves that built this country, to the Black American people who have fought for rights. And I'm talking about civil rights that people have come to this country and who have benefited from. Okay. The future of your limitless possibilities. Black people have given so much to this country, from NASA to civil rights movements to education to fighting in your wars. They have given a lot to this country. And a lot of what you, hi Trish from Canada, thank you for being here. And a lot that Black American people have done, died for, Donald Trump, you have no idea. You are very disrespectful and disgusting in my opinion. Okay. Gloom Cookie said he is so disrespectful. Like, I can't fathom how this hate is trying to be normalized. I just can't. Well, that's who they are. So Elon Musk may now have we're moving on. Elon Musk may now have sway over the U.S. Treasury. Okay, now this is important. This is something that I saw earlier. Elon Musk has gotten his hands in the Treasury, and also has gotten a whole, hey country girl, didn't see you there, sorry about that, I'm glad to see you. He has gotten into information where he has all of our information when it comes to Social Security. If you're getting Social Security, you get Medicaid, he has all that information now. He has access to that information, which is very scary. Okay. And especially if you're in the military, they'll have all of our information. All right. Late Friday, newly sworn in Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent gave access to the agency's payment system to representatives of the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, created by President Donald Trump. Said I wasn't calling him that. Trump, and headed by Elon Musk. A strike force of Musk lackeys appears to be pursuing a takeover of key background systems of the U.S. government, from human resources to physical buildings to software systems to now what is essentially the country's central bank account. At this point, Musk people reportedly cannot control payments, only view them, but how long that arrangement will last is unclear. Treasury payments system processes more than $5 trillion annually, paying the country's bills. This includes Social Security checks and tax refunds, which means the system includes sensitive personal information on tens of millions of Americans. That's us, Americans. That's us, US Americans. A Sunday headline from New York Magazine: Elon Musk may have your social security number, and it's not an exaggeration. Let's see. When Musk, the world's richest man, took over Twitter, he cut costs by simply refusing to make payments, from rent for the company's headquarters office in San Francisco to janitorial services. Musk's approach was to simply stop paying the bills and see what happens. So we hope that if you're getting Social Security, that you will be getting your check, because now Elon Musk has control over that, access to that. A similar approach to the United States government, however, promises to be catastrophic. One scenario is that shutting off payments to federal grantees and nonprofits could cause rapid harm. And this could come at the whims of extremist ideological allies of Trump. For example, his former national security advisor, Michael Flynn, a Christian nationalist and purveyor of misinformation who lied to the FBI and was later pardoned by Trump, posted on X information about federal payments to Lutheran Family Services, which along with its affiliates provides a wide range of services, including counseling. Musk retweeted Flynn's post promising the DOGE team is rapidly shutting down these illegal payments. The illegal action would in fact appear to be Musk's own Congress appropriates federal funds, but Musk is acting as if the law will never catch up to him. Musk's tweets may be getting ahead of the reality of what he and his team are doing at the moment. But imagine if the US government were to stop paying bills because a billionaire saw a social media post from a conspiracy theorist urging him to do so. Fitch and everyone else should downgrade U.S. credit. Dean Baker, an economist at the Progressive Center for Economy and Policy Research, posted on Blue Sky. If a bill gets paid only if Elon Musk or Trump feels like it, then the U.S. is not very creditworthy. Hey, this is scary. Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon, the ranking Democrat on the Senate Finance Committee, issued a similar warning. To put it bluntly, this payment system simply cannot fail, and any politically motivated meddling in them risk severe damage to our country and the economy. The federal government is in a financially precarious position, currently utilizing accounting maneuvers to continue paying its bills since it reached the debt limit at the beginning of the year. I am concerned that mismanagement of these payment systems could threaten the full faith and credit of the United States. And this is, hey, Monica, thank you for subscribing. Look, this is scary, because I know a lot of people live off of Social Security check. You have Social Security that come in every month. My sister is an ex-military. She served in the Army. My mother was in the Air Force. And, you know, I was telling her today, she said, Elon Musk better not mess with my check that I get every month, right? My mom gets a check every month for serving. And she goes to the hospital. She goes to the VA. I mean, she's not, she has heart issues and she might have to have surgery. And so, and she's going to go to the VA. She served her country. She is entitled to having that. And as well as my sister, she's entitled to have that. And so thank you, Monique. I appreciate that. And so this is worrisome, because I said, well, you know, I talked to one of the nurses at the hospital. I asked, well, you know, what's going on with with Donald Trump and his, you know, stopping all this federal funding. And the lady said, well, he hasn't done anything as of yet. So we'll see. My uncle gets a check too. Yes, a lot of, service people who have mental illness, they get a check every month. They need, it's just, all of this is just a high funky mess, to be honest with you, and it's frustrating. I'm a Civil Cross widow and get veterans pension. I'd be terrified if that happened here. Exactly. And you should be terrified, because what if Elon Musk goes in and say, you know what? I don't think they deserve to get a check every month. Now what? So economists have long warned that should the United States miss a debt payment, it would send shockwaves through the world economy. On the domestic front, the Trump administration this past week attempted to withhold billions in federal aid through an Office of Management and Budget memo instructing agencies to temporarily halt payments. The attempt was widely illegal. According to experts and to federal judges, have halted much of that effort. Now, it may be possible for Musk and his underlings themselves to simply withhold payments by payments they disagree with. Theoretically, rather than asking agency to cut spending, Musk could move to cut off the funds from Treasury. I am deeply concerned that following the federal grant, the loan freeze earlier this week, these officials associated with Musk may have intended to access these payment systems illegally without payments to any number of programs. Wyden said in a statement, according to reporting in Political, the DOGE team doesn't have the capabilities to withhold or change payments, at least not yet. Instead, access by DOGE's Treasury representative, software executive Tom Krause, is read only, but warning signs of a hostile takeover have been flashing. For example, Musk's team literally took over Office of Personnel Management computer system this past week, locking OPM officials out of them. They have been taking down entire government websites and data sets, causing public-facing information research to disappear before Americans' eyes in Orwellian fashion. And over the weekend, those representatives demand classified information from USAID that they lack clearance for, according to CNN, despite that the executive order creating DOGE explicitly exempts classified information from its efforts. When USAID security officials refused to comply, they were put on leave. The power that comes with controlling U.S. government payment is vast. How Musk and Trump might try to leverage that against political or legal opponents, say against states that file lawsuits they don't like, is sobering. And to consider, so far, the GOP-controlled Congress seems willing to let them do whatever they want. Okay. So, like I said, this was all over the place. And it is a hot mess. Now, when I get into this, CDC purchased the STD and vaccine recommendations after Trump during the order. Let me just say this to you guys. Lately, when I've been going out, I've been wearing a mask. So I think it's very important that you all start putting on your mask, okay? Because Trump wants to erase any signs of anything that's infections or anything like that. He wants it not to show up, okay? He doesn't want another cousin 19 appearing, and he doesn't want the American people to know about it, okay? This is why instead of just listening to going onto Facebook and reading headlines, we're all going to have to start doing some deep diving researching. Okay. I suggest going to the BBC. I suggest going to, I can't even think of the name of it. Oh gosh, I'll think of it. It'll come to me. Just start researching of what's going on. And very important, guys. I'm not making this up. Okay. Tuberculosis is on the rise in this country right now. It's a lot. Just wear your mask. Okay, I know a lot of people didn't want to wear their masks because they didn't believe in C-19, but I'm gonna tell you, C-19 was real. The flu is out here. You got the bird flu, and you can catch the bird flu too, by the way. So it's a lot. So much going on. Okay, so the CDC purges STD and vaccine recommendations after Trump gender order. This is to, okay, let's just get into it. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention took offline recommendations on how doctors should treat sexually transmitted infections and vaccinate adults Friday, as part of a sweeping purge of all mentions of gender from federal websites ordered by the Trump administration this week. Doctors in every community in America rely on these treatment guidelines to know what tests to run, to know what antibiotic will work on which infection, and how to avoid worsening antibiotic resistance, said David C. Harvey, head of the National Coalition of STD Directors, in a statement to CBS News. Multiple federal health officials said that agency staff had been racing Friday to meet a 5 p.m. deadline set by the Office of Personnel Management to implement President Trump's executive order that the federal government now only recognizes two sexes, male and female. Okay. Web pages that could not be immediately reworded to strip out all mentions of gender, like those aimed at transgender people, were taken down to be reworked. People will get sick, and especially in cases like congenital syphilis, where you cannot lose a day to treat. Babies will pass away, said Harvey. Some changes were minor and kept web pages online, like rewording information Zika virus from saying pregnant person to pregnant woman instead. Others have resulted in gutting key parts of the agency website data from the CDC. Youth Risk Behavior Surveillance System, a nationwide survey of high school students about mental health, substance abuse, and violence, were also wiped from the website. The last round of the survey's results had highlighted worsening mental health and violence affecting the LGBTQ high school students. Also pulled offline was much of the CDC's adult immunization guidelines, which reference transgender and non-binary people as part of carefully crafted recommendations for some vaccines passed by a panel of the agency's outside advisors. Other health agencies were also affected by the rewrites. Data published by the Office of Disease Prevention and Health Promotion tracking progress to meet federal goals, like reducing the bullying of transgender students and curbing the proportion of gay high school students using illegal drugs, were deleted. Announcements and guidelines by the Food and Drug Administration mentioning gender were either rewritten to swap for references to sex or scrubbed, like a non-deleted 2023 move by the agency that had been intended to make it easier for gay and bisexual men to donate blood. Before I move on, I want to tell you that, hey, Red Labels, here in Atlanta, AIDS and HIV has always been an issue in here. Hey, H-Tub. But now they said that it's on the rise again, and it's very, very high in Georgia, in Atlanta specifically. And so, to not have information available for people to search or doctors to search is very telling of, this Trump administration, the FOTUS administration, felon of the United States. And so this is not a laughing matter. And this is why I wanted to talk about what's happening with the CDC. Excuse me. And that's why I say, really get out here, wear your mask, just be proactive. when it comes to your health. Okay. All right. So nonprofit hospitals and health departments ordered to comply. Letters obtained by CBS News sent to nonprofits and state and local health departments receiving federal health dollars also left some grant recipients confused. One letter suggested that all their staff and communications would also be forced to comply with the Trump administration sweeping new rules banning gender from all their activities, like dropping a mention of pronouns from email signatures and removing gender from their websites as a condition of continuing to receive federal funds. Another targeted mentions of diversity, equity, and inclusion, saying that similar to federal rules, they also were now required to immediately terminate to the maximum extent of all programs, personnel, activities, or contracts promoting those ideas at every level and activity, regardless of your location or the citizenship of employees or contracts supported by the funds. Bloom Cookie said, thank you for doing these lives. I got a jet now, but I'll be back later when I can. Hope you guys have an okay day. Sending positive vibes out there. Thank you, Bloom Cookie. Thank you for being here. Some hospitals also said this week they are moving to suspend medications and procedures for youth seeking gender-affirming care, following an executive order signed on Tuesday by President Trump to curb procedures and prescriptions for gender transitions in minors. Children's National is committed to providing compassionate and comprehensive care in accordance with the law. As a result, we are currently pausing all puberty blockers and hormone therapy prescriptions for transgender youth patients, Children's National Hospital in Washington, D.C. said in a statement Thursday. So now what they're doing is this administration are, involving themselves in other people's lives. And I remember a time when they wanted small government. They didn't want government intruding on people's lives, right? This is what they said, 10 years ago. We don't want the government intruding on people's lives. This was the GOP. Now, this administration, along with with the rest of the Republicans, they don't mind this happening. What you're going to end up having is a lot of children. Okay. Let me say this. People do not wake up and say, oh, today I want to be a girl. Today I want to be a boy. It doesn't work like that, people. It doesn't work like that. There are plenty of documentaries on transgender people and what they go through and how they suffer. Let people be themselves. This has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with me. Let people be themselves. And if a child comes to you and says, you know what, I feel like I'm a girl or I feel like I'm a boy, right? Typically what happens is before they even have a surgery or even begin to take pills, they literally go sit down with a psychiatrist. They get psychiatric help. They go talk to somebody. And it takes a year or two before they even move on with the process. Okay. So this is not something that just, I'm going to go to school one day and then the next day they're going to come out being men or they're going to come out being a girl. Your son is going to go to school and he's going to come out and be a girl. That's not how it works. It's not. And when Trump ran on that and was pushing that narrative, I was like, are they serious right now? People are so consumed with other people's lives in the negative way, right? If I had a child and my child came to me and said, you know what, Mom, I think I'm having feelings of, I don't think I want to be who I am. I think I don't feel what my body is telling me. Inside, I feel different. Okay, let's go talk to somebody. You sit down, you have a conversation. It takes years before they start cutting anything off or whatever. So I don't understand Donald Trump you know. Okay. All right. So children, okay, usually know when they are younger. They will walk up to you, oh, I think I'm a boy, or oh, I think I'm a girl. They know it when they are little kids, a lot of them. Okay. Right. Elon Musk is upset because he has a transgender child himself. That's probably what the problem is. That's part of the issue. I mean, he bound to have a child of the LGBT. He got 13 children. I mean, let me shut up. Okay, so moving right along. Am I going to the next page? Okay. Yeah. So suspending medication for people who have already gone through the process, I think that is I think that's evil, and I think it's meaning you're going to have a lot of children dealing with issues. You're going to have a lot of kids dealing with mental issues. You're going to have a lot of kids dealing with bullying and all of that stuff. That is going to happen, and you're going to have a lot more young kids taking themselves out because they don't feel or they having issues with society, and it is very cruel, H-Tub. So the hospital already did not perform gender transition surgeries for minors, a spokesperson, and then they never did that. They never did surgery for minors. Okay. They did not comment on how many patients will be impacted by the pause. Not all children's hospitals say they are stopping gender affirming care. Statements released by Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, the University of Michigan Health, and Children's Hospital of Chicago said they were still assessing the impact of the order. Our team will continue to advocate for access to medically necessary care grounded in science and compassion for the patients' families. We are so privileged to serve, said a spokesperson for Ann and Robert H. Lurie Children's Hospital of Chicago in a statement. The Trump administration this week also took down web pages outlining federal civil rights guidelines on gender affirming care for youth, effectively ending a Biden administration position that had criticized attempts to restrict this potentially life-saving care. Okay. All right. Moving right along. Trump's trade war among allies triggers retaliation from Canada and Mexico. Now, this is where the fun began. Okay. So this is where we about to, for the MAGA people who voted for Donald Trump, this is your F around and find out moment. Okay. So Canada said, we ain't playing with you. Mexico said, we're not playing with you. As we know, prices are on a rise. Okay. Inflation is up. Okay. So yeah, this is the path we're about to take, people. So get to know your neighbors. If you live in the country and you know people who have chickens, who lay eggs, like I said, go to these gardens, because a lot of the gardens and stuff are popping up around, little personal gardens and stuff where people go by like a section and they grow their own vegetables and fruit. So get to know these people. Go to your farmer's market, because in your farmer's market, it's going to be cheaper. When they have little farmer's markets that pop up, it is going to be cheaper. Okay. I'm telling y'all, this is about to be a hot, funky mess. We saw this coming. All of us over here that knew about Project 2025, we saw this coming. And a lot of this is Project 2025. So let that be known as well. Canada and Mexico order retaliatory tariffs on American goods. Responds to sweeping tariffs imposed by U.S. President Donald Trump, and businesses and consumers in both countries questions Sunday how the new trade war might affect them. Canada initially ordered tariffs of 25% on American imports starting February 4th, including beverages, cosmetics, and paper products worth 30 billion Canadian dollars, $20 billion. A second list of goods was to be released soon, including passenger vehicles, trucks, steel, and aluminum products, certain fruits and vegetables, beef, pork, dairy products, and more. Those goods were estimated to be worth 125 billion Canadian dollars and 85 billion dollars in American dollars. Mexico has so far said only that it will impose retaliatory tariffs without mentioning any rate or products. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum spoke by phone Saturday after Trump's administration imposed the new tariffs. 25% on goods from Canada and Mexico, with a lower rate of 10% for Canadian oil, 10% on imports from China. Trudeau's office said in a statement that Canada and Mexico agreed to enhance the strong bilateral relations between their countries. Canadian officials have had extensive dialogue with their Mexican counterparts, but a senior Canadian official said he would not go as far as to say the tariff responses were coordinated. Now is the time to choose products made right here in Canada, Trudeau posted Sunday on X. Check the labels. Let's do our part. Whatever we can, choose Canada. Canada is the largest export markets for 36 states, and Mexico is the largest trading partner of the U.S. Canada and Mexico ordered the tariffs despite Trump's further threat to increase the duties charged if retaliatory levies are placed on American goods. We're certainly not looking to escalate, but we will stand up for Canada, Trudeau said late Saturday. Some authorities in the province of Ontario, British Columbia, Quebec, Manitoba, I think that's Nova Scotia, plan to remove American liquor brands from government store shelves. For instance, the Liquor Control Board Ontario sells nearly $1 billion worth of American wine, beer, spirits, and seltzers every year. Ontario Premier Doug Ford pointed out Sunday. Not anymore, Ford said in a statement. Starting Tuesday, they plan to remove American products from their shelves and their catalog. As the only alcohol wholesaler in the province, the board's action will prevent Ontario-based restaurants and retailers from ordering or restocking U.S. products. Beyond the official response, people were already thinking of ways to cope with Trump's decision, including by sharing suggestions on social media for alternatives to American products. Beyond the official response, people were already thinking of ways to cope with Trump's decision, including by sharing suggestions on social media for alternatives to American products. Trudeau addressed Americans directly, saying, the tariffs, will have real consequences for you. Trump responded Sunday, criticizing Canada's trade surplus with the United States and contending that without that surplus, Canada ceases to exist as a viable country. Harsh but true. Therefore, Canada should become our cherished 51st state, much lower taxes and far better military protection for the people of Canada, and no tariffs. Donald Trump is an idiot, y'all. That's all I can say. Canadians are feeling a sense of betrayal from their closest allies and friends. Trudeau reminded Americans that Canadian troops fought alongside them in Afghanistan and helped respond to many disasters in the U.S., including wildfires in California and Hurricane Katrina. Canadian hockey fans booed the American national anthem Saturday night at 2 National Hockey League games. The booing continued Sunday at an NBA game in Toronto, where the Raptors played the Los Angeles Clippers. One fan at the Raptors game chose to sit during the anthem while wearing a Canada hat. Joseph Chua, who works as an importer, said he expects to feel the terrorists pretty directly. I've always stood during both anthems. I've taken my hat off to show respect to the American national anthem. But today, we're feeling a little bitter about things, he said, adding that he will start to avoid buying American products. Okay. In Mexico, public statements on the tariff threat have been limited to saying the government is prepared and that it will ensure the country is respected. In 2019, Mexico was able to avoid Trump's tariff threat by adding immigration control to the responsibilities of its newly formed National Guard. But this time, the accusation that Sheinbaum's administration has alliances with criminal groups pushed her to punch back. She called on the U.S. to clean up its own problems with drugs and guns and to keep its nose out of Mexico. Trump said he was imposing the tariffs to stop the flow of illegal immigrants and drugs across both the southern and northern U.S. borders. In the streets, Mexicans were trying to absorb the announcement Sunday, although some in the Capitol acknowledged that they were unaware of the measures. From a small coffee snack shop in downtown, Carlos Barone, a 40-year-old salesperson, said that Trump's decision did not worry him, that he trusts in actions of Sheinbaum's administration. If we survive the pandemic and everything that it brought to us, I think we will survive this, he said. Asked about a potential boycott of American products, Barone laughed and said that maybe some people would do it just to record themselves and make a video and make it viral. I have always been against what the United States is, he added. But we consume Coca-Cola at the end of the day. I consume certain products that come from there, he said. But Miriam Tenorio, owner of the fruit and vegetable stand in a public market in the Capitol, said she was willing to support a boycott. If we Mexicans say no to the Coca-Cola, we don't drink Coca-Cola, Torino said. In the border city of Mexicali, across from Calexico, California, some people were concerned about the wider implications of a trade war. Driver Alejandro Acosta says that he crosses the border weekly in his truck to deliver vegetables to American companies. He said he fears American businesses in the Mexicali Valley will no longer want to operate in Mexico, and they will move to the U.S. H. Tubb said Trump is trying to get us to pay for that tax cut, forcing us to pay tariffs. Tariffs on washers during Trump's first term raised prices on non-tariff dryers, and American washers' prices went up as too. We knew this was going to happen, y'all. We already knew this was what he was going to do. If they raise taxes on the factories here, jobs may also decrease, he said. After Trump won the election in November, Canadian leaders openly blamed Mexico for the trouble in trade and the border. And some have continued to say so. I can tell the American people, Canada is not the problem. The problem is the Mexican border and China. That's where the problem is, said Ford, the Ontario premier. The trade war comes as Canada begins an election cycle. Trudeau's Liberal Party will announce a new leader in March 9th, and a spring election is expected. Canada will now bow down to a bully, said Mark Carney, considered the front runner to replace Trudeau. Okay. So, there we go. Let me take this out of my ear. Trade wars, DEI snubs, planes crashing. What else has he done? He brought back Black History Month, whatever. Hi. So, what other products will go up for Americans? The rest of Canada was shocked when Ford said that we do not support his position. I don't know if you all have ever been to Canada, but Canada has some of the nicest people you will ever meet. I've been to Toronto twice, loved it there, was thinking about moving there. This is years ago. Wanted to move there because people are just so, really, really nice, good people. Red Label said, I guess this is to your answer, BB. Cucumbers, avocados, cherry tomatoes, Tonka toys, BMW, Audi, Nissan, just to name a few. Yep. And beer, alcohol, wine, tequila. So right now, even we went to the farmer's market and I noticed that avocado was more expensive because they are going to use, the companies in these corporations are going to knowing that Trump has already done that, they are going to start raising prices right now, right? So my husband was like, but those tariffs, he can implement the tariffs, but the reality is it doesn't go into effect. And I'm like, yeah, but the companies and corporations are still going to raise the prices. They're going to take advantage of it. And they already started. I mean, that's just what it is. And I think maybe they do that because, you know, they want to get people prepared. So when the tariffs do kick in, your mind is, oh, the stuff is already expensive. I don't know, but I noticed that I paid $1.50 for one avocado, and it was a small avocado. Just saying, at the farmer's market. Red Label said, Fox News has a whole freaking list, believe it or not, and they aren't happy either. Oh, they're not? I thought they were passing the word around to say, you know what? Get used to it, Americans. This is Trump, and it's going to be better. Elon Musk told us, he said he included himself in this. I don't know why he said we. My sister said, what is he doing? Speaking French? We're going to have to suffer a little bit before things get better. This is what he said. Okay. Not going to be pretty, y'all. I'm just saying. Not going to be pretty. Okay. I dropped the link if anybody want to come up and give their grievances as to what we're about to experience here. You know, I've been waiting for those tariffs to kick in because it's not going to be a fun situation, but at the same time, I've been waiting for this day. Reason being, just to say I told you so. Okay, to MAGA. Musk has control of the Treasury pay system. He does. He does. And yeah, it's going to be a hot, funky mess. So if anybody want to come up and talk about it, be my guest. The coup has happened. Exactly, H-Tub. The coup has happened. Absolutely. They are taking over the government. It's all about the dollars. Y'all got to watch the money. Follow the money. Follow the money. And I said this before. It's about money. For Elon Musk, he wants to be the richest man in the world. He is, you know, he needs to be stopped. He shouldn't be allowed to go into the government and have, you know, control of anything at all. He shouldn't have access to anything that's in the government. This man is a foreigner to this country. I don't even know if he's legal. Okay. He shouldn't be sitting in the White House or near the White House taking on government, having information or any type of treasury pay system, H-Tub. He shouldn't have access to any of that, period. And you're right, Congress is complicit, and that's a problem. And so in 2026, when it's time to start voting, we got to vote this. We got to take back the House and take back the Senate, okay? Because that's the only way we're going to stop this madness, you know? Or it's going to be either 2 years of hell or it's going to be 4 years of hell. It's up to you, right? So it's no more sitting on the couch and listening. And another thing I wanted to bring up is the fact that Mark Zuckerberg is over there on Facebook blocking people from putting up certain information that's going to help you, and especially people of color. He is taking people's sites down and their information, blogs or whatever it is on Facebook, taking it down and telling those people that, oh, you can't, this is a guideline issue, Facebook guidelines issue. Hey, Mel MC, Mel NYC, how you doing? Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah. What's going on?
No.
Oh, I know I sound country right now. What's going on?
What's going on, honey? That's what you said, because you're angry, probably. That's what's going on.
I'm irritated. So H-Tub, exactly. Go to Blue Sky and go to Fan Base. Fan Base is a Black-owned app. Okay, and I think it's kind of like it's kind of ran, I believe, like IG. So, and Blue Sky is like Twitter. Okay. Okay. Go ahead, Mary. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. No, I listened to the show. I think that, I don't know. I think that for me, what I was thinking is it feels like we moved into an era where a lot of people are playing by the rules, which is the people that vote for Kamala Harris. And a lot of other people are not playing by the rules. Now, I'm not talking about committing no crimes. I don't believe in that. But I'm looking at the way they move. They just attacking money. They're attacking different institutions and stuff like that. And I think they would be very upset if people just say, you know what, I give up. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna basically do a Trump move. I'm gonna go out there and start multiple businesses. And if it doesn't work out, I'm just gonna file for bankruptcy. I'm gonna actually put it on the American people. I'm gonna gobble up as much money as I get my hands on for the next 4 years and pretend like it doesn't exist. Because I think that the American people have a lot more power than we think we do.
Right.
If we started it, listen, so I saw somebody in the chat and my heart goes out to them. It was a comment in the chat where somebody said that one of their family members would depend on a pension, or I don't know how that works because my family, I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
But if you listen, what I feel is if you have served this country and you feel like you can't get medical service at your local, VA hospital, or they mess up some kind of thing that's connected to you serving this country, then yeah, I probably wouldn't want to be playing by anybody's rules. That was a couple of years ago in New York City where we were doing. I didn't do it because it didn't really connect with me. But they were trying to do a rent strike because all the developers here were just going crazy with the rent during the pandemic. So everybody in the city was trying to get together and just say we're not going to pay rent for, I don't know, a couple of months, whatever. I just think that for me, we as Americans or just as people, we have this thing. We play by the rules. We just do everything so orderly. And I think that we looked at our situation and say, okay, what could I do that that may be a little bit like Elon and maybe a little bit like Trump? Because I think that's what I'm thinking about. To be honest with you, I think that. I'm trying to think about it because it's YouTube. We might talk about it later on, but yeah, I think that if they start playing games, basically we can start playing games too. That's what I'm saying. That's it. We can be very creative and we can have a lot of fun in the meantime, and we definitely can give them. It's a new era, new GOP. That's true, very much so. W1.
But this is I saw a post someone put up, and they said in 1991. The government had the House and the Senate. The Republican president at the time was
George Bush
Sr.
Yeah.
And so he controlled that too. And it was still the same attitude, right? Reagan era, same thing. George Bush Sr., same exact thing. So it was a struggle with having to, during those times, people were standing in line getting a government cheese. That's real talk. You had the crack epidemic that was eating up the suburban areas and Black people's families. You had AIDS. Can you say that on here? I'm not even sure. But you had people running rampant. In the 90s, it was the same thing. It was a lot going on. And that's when it was a time when people were like, okay, we need a change. Something has to change. And to me, I feel like we're going back during that time. When he says golden age, what is the golden age? Hey, Siri, what is the golden age? I mean, for me, it is like going all the way back. I think Donald Trump, because he said the best time was during the golden age. He keeps mentioning that. Okay.
A golden age in America that Elon never was a part of, which is kind of crazy to me. Like, what do Elon got to do with it? And I think that it feels disgusting. It feels gross. The idea to have this man, this citizen or whatever you want to call him, I think it's something called an alien, up there, intimidating people, putting his hands on things that don't belong to him. It'd be different if he's like, this is what I think is so funny about the MAGA people. These people promised you so much. They promised you the stars and the moon. And there are issues in this country. This man is worth trillions of dollars. Is he sitting up on his Twitter saying, hey, all my followers, I'm going to go down to Washington and I'm going to actually contribute hundreds of millions of dollars to charities, hundreds of millions of dollars and stuff. No, he's always talking about cutting things off and pain and suffering and misery and confusion. And that's all. And also bad, you know, me, you talked about it earlier. I've been having my life. I've been on my computer, doing my little side projects on the weekend like I like to do. And I've been watching a lot of the crypto, a lot of the stocks. I've been watching a lot of that stuff. And a lot of these people have not been very happy with Trump and Elon because they've been out there, basically, in my opinion, just my opinion, they've been giving them like these sort of these bad stock and crypto options. You know, they thought this is the best thing in the world, and people losing hundreds of millions of dollars behind these fake meme coins and stuff like that. You know, they have not given none of their supporters anything but bad financial advice. And now they have more and more expensive prices with their food and with their gas and stuff like that. So, you know, I don't know. I think it's just kind of crazy to me that these people still support him. But yeah, I think that I just think that for the most part, if they want to play games in the next 4 years, then we have to figure out ways to play right back. That in a way, I just almost, I don't know what I want to say, but I have some ideas. I do. I mean, because I don't take them seriously, and yeah, I don't. No, but you know what I'm saying is, okay, what can I say? It's almost like, okay, I'll say it this way. I'll put it this way, and more politically correct. You're in a wonderful high school. It ain't perfect, okay? And you're doing your thing. You're reading, you're studying, and now your principal, who runs the school, they gone. They went away for a little bit or whatever. Now you get somebody comes in who is a hot, stinking mess. Now, am I going to feel motivated to do my studies and to have manners and to play by the rules under that person? Hell no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to show up at school when I want to. I'm going to do whatever I want to. I might even listen. I'm going to take every shortcut I can. I'm going to play by the rules under this new principle. I'm not going to suffer. And so that's what I'm trying to say. It's just that feeling like under the other presidents, I may not have voted for these Republican people, but I didn't have no hatred. I don't have, how can I tell you? It was a respect level there because we just respect the people who's in office. I don't respect him. Right. I didn't respect him before, which is new for me because I love the Democratic, the voting process and all that kind of stuff. And this is, when he was voted before and now it's like the respect for the presidency is gone. I don't have respect for this person.
I don't think a lot of people have a lot of respect for him, but H-Tub just said the Democratic popular poll is 37%. It's low. She said something also about since Reagan, the Heritage Foundation and Lenore Leo have plotted and planned this. Exactly.
Remember we talked about this in the conversation that there's actually other very powerful anti-Trump organizations in America. Remember we went down the list?
I think so. I'm going to change my memory.
Oh, no. Well, you know what? Let's do that. Well, you know what? I'm gonna look it up right now. I think I have it before me. I think I have it right. Do I have it before me?
So Trish M says, was Bush Sr. lagging in polls before the war on Iraq? If it happens with Trump, do you worry he'll start a new conflict? To be honest with you, I think he will start a new conflict. I mean, my husband and I talk about this all the time because we have the situation going on in with Russia in Ukraine. He threatened Russia, and Russia was like, not today. And then because they want that land, right? They feel like it's theirs. And then we have the issue with Israel and Gaza. Although they had a ceasefire, Israel is still in the West Bank, still taking people out. So y'all can research that. I know I read about it and I was like, these people are still over here unaliving people. So Israel is still doing the same thing. To me, it's all the same. I don't understand why, oh, let's have the ceasefire over here, but then we're going to go to the West Bank and still do what we're doing. They're invading these people's properties and the Palestinians' properties. They're going in. The Israel soldiers are going in and just walking into people's homes and forcing them to leave, taking over their properties and stuff. So Donald Trump said last week that, you know, all the people, and he's speaking of Gaza, all the people are gone anyway. Aren't they gone, deceased? It's good land. You know, maybe we'll help rebuild. That's the plan. That has always been the plan. So when you had those protesters protesting against Kamala Harris in the Biden administration, it's like, what are you doing? I mean, I went to go see Kamala Harris speak when she came to Georgia, and there were people out there protesting her. I'm like, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Like, this makes no sense. You're gonna protest her, but when Trump comes, nobody talked about you all standing outside Trump. Trump is going to let Israel take you all the way out because they want that property. It's supposed to be beautiful over there, you know, and they just want to build these high-rise apartments or whatever. And I'm telling you, he's going to give the contract to his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. That is the plan. The plan for Trump is to make a lot of money while he's in office. H-Tub said, is Marco Rubio going to go after acquiring Cuba? Guantanamo Bay has no room to build facilities for 30,000 people. I don't know, H-Tub. I have no idea, but they're talking about sending people over to Guantanamo Bay, and this is immigrants. And I'm not even gonna say they're all illegal because they're picking up people that are legal. They picked up a soldier, a military veteran who served in America, Hispanic guy, and held him at ICE and wanted to send him back. My sister said today they knocked on a Trinidadian's or Jamaican guy's door, took his wife, and he unloaded on him. He pulled out he exercised his Second Amendment rights as an American should do. And hey, Gwen. And he hit 5 of them. ICE came and took his wife. He said, "You're not taking my wife." So that was I had to research it, but my sister said, "Yeah, that happened. That happened today." So do not obey in advance. Exactly, H-Tub. Exactly. So yes, I do believe if it happens, definitely Trump will start a conflict. I think he's doing that right now. He's just going different directions with starting conflict with these tariff, because it's basically they're calling it a tariff war. That's what Trudeau.
He hasn't even been in office for
2 weeks.
And all this problem.
But we knew this was coming because everything that he's implemented is Project 2025.
Yeah.
Everything to the T. Like, you can read it and you'll see it happening right there. That's what it is. Ouch.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it's true. It's Project 25. I still believe is mental warfare. Is definitely trying to be mind control. I think if you do any kind of war, anything that he can do to make him seem like a hero to the American people is what he's going to do.
And he's going to always blame. Pay attention to how he does it. Something happened, just like the planes going down, the crash. He automatically talks about DEI.
And the fires in California too.
Right. That's all DEI. And then you find out that's not DEI. It had nothing to do. DEI is the new N word for Black people. So here's the issue with DEI. A lot of people do not understand, have no knowledge of that DEI really has nothing to do with Black people. Right? Black people are the least to even benefit from DEI. The people that benefit from DEI the most are white women. Right? White women, Hispanics, Asian Americans, Native Americans, the LGBTQ community, And then Black people are last on that list. Just like Black people really didn't benefit from what's the other one that's not DDI? It was right on the tip of my tongue.
What is it? Civil rights?
Affirmative action.
Oh, affirmative action.
White women benefited more from affirmative action than Black people. All this stuff that DEI, he's making it a racial thing, right? Just like he put the lowercase letter when he talked about Black Americans.
It's all a branding thing.
It's all branding. It's all psychological. And you have to stand up to it. If you come across the bull crap, you look at it, you read it, like, okay, been here before, done that. Talk to your parents. If your parents are still alive, your parents have most likely have been through it. They understand it. They know the survival, how to get through the nonsense. It's nonsense. It is all just trying to trigger you, to make you angry, to make you tired.
Well, and I think that, I'm thinking about it when you're saying that too. I mean, I think, and not to go too deep, but I think that's what the cross on the front lawn was about all those years ago. How many times did we hear stories about people moving out of a dangerous, terrible, dirty community, going into, like, raising the son, going out to a beautiful home, and next thing you know, you're living well, you're living good, and now you get a cross on the lawn. It's a psychological thing that has always been done. And the moment that certain communities started to expand and live comfortable, then all of a sudden they started to have their homes, messed up, and all this sort of racial Ku Klux Klan energy and all that. It's all this scare tactics. And what I was saying about earlier too is California. That's still in my mind. When it first happened, they really didn't show much mercy to his voters. That's what I think a lot of Democrats have to do. This country is very big, and a lot of people suffering. Most of them are his voters. So I don't want to go into spaces and say, the African American community or this one or that. I want to put in their face his voters, because you know what, his voters right now are very quiet. So I'll speak for them. I will go to different places and speak for them, because the simple fact is his voters were some of the people out in California who were burnt out of their homes, and that's all a mystery too about why that happened and stuff like that. When it happened, he wanted to blackmail, California to get money to go out there to help his voters, some of his voters out there, to get their homes and get food and all that. So when I was talking to you, I said, well, in the new era of the times with this man or this person, this entity in office, if I was the governor of California, and Alan Baldwin came out of his situation, he said, wait a minute, we sent over 300 billion. I'm not sure what the numbers are correct, but he said billions and billions of dollars from Spider-Man and Marvel movies and all type of movies. So they make billions and trillions of dollars in Hollywood. We send y'all over hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes to Washington. We don't really require that to come back. And you mean to tell me when we have a natural global warming disaster, you're going to try to hold our money hostage? Well, what if I told you, Donald Trump? That's me. You talk about. Well, if I was the governor, I said, what if I told you, Donald Trump, I'm not paying taxes this year? You know what I'm going to do? I'm not sending hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars to Washington. Most of the red states in this country are little deserts. They are food deserts. They are in Oklahoma. They're in Indiana. They're not in San Francisco, California, New York City, Atlanta. We, for the most part, we good. The people who are hurting the most part is those people in the middle of America, the Rust Belt.
Right.
So when you have all these global warming disasters, and in the big cities, California, New York City, Atlanta, we decide, you know what, we ain't gonna send you. For the next 4 years, you keep acting stupid, I'm not sending you a damn red cent. I'm gonna leave all that money in my thing. You want to hold me hostage? You want to blackmail my state? Well, we make enough money in these states, the blue states, well, we can take care of our own people. You rely on the billions from our states to take care of your voters, honey. So what we're going to do is, you want that money? Well, this is Sunday. I remember I told you on the phone, I said he better get on his knees for Elon and try to work out that money from him, from his trillion, so he can pay his voters. That's what he needs to do. Right. But he won't get it from the blue states. So that's what I'm saying. In the new, now that Miss Sunday, that would be unheard of in any other political time. But we living under this time, so now we talking about not paying taxes. If we the governor, because if his people are running it, we got the man in office over there the aliens, you say, in these situations, in my mind, I'm looking at him like that man from what's that? It's a Wonderful Life, sitting behind the desk, that old man, the burial man, just sitting there, just taking their money and not even doing what he's supposed to. Why? And what the same person for the next 4 years send any money to a Trump government? Everybody got to wake up now. Why would a citizen? Now, again, this is the controversial part. Now, the media talk about offline, but why would anybody with a rational mind? We got to think about it. Why would we support a Trump government when we can support our own selves? This could be like a time where we can cruise right by for the next 4 years if we want to. But if you're a governor,
right?
If I was a governor, I wouldn't send. Excuse my friend, I wouldn't say shit to him. To be honest with you,
Right.
I would. You ain't gonna blackmail me. You out your damn mind.
But I don't. But see, the issue is that the Republican governors and people that sit in Congress, they are afraid of this man because they are afraid of what he's going to do. He's already threatened them. If you don't, do what I say, then when it's time for your election, basically Elon Musk is going to get you ousted out. So a lot of the things that Donald Trump has said has led me to believe that he cheated and Elon Musk, some kind of way, got him elected or made him the president of the United States. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the stuff that he says, just eventually he'll tell off on himself. And when all of this is over, because it's not going to last, it's not going to last long. I don't think the universe will allow that. But when it's can you hear my dog snoring?
No.
Okay. So when it's all over, said and done, they're gonna do investigations, and we're gonna find out that Elon Musk was able, or they cheated some kind of way to get this man put back in office. He did not win that election. I don't believe that. I don't want to believe that. I know this country is racist, it's all get out. But what I do know, I think that more people in this country are, are not racist. I believe there's less racist people than there are racist people.
Yeah, I believe that. I just think, you know what? Yeah, I do. I believe that. I'll tell you, Miss Sunny, I don't trust the government. I don't trust the legal process. This election, it's got me rethinking about the way we deal with misdemeanors and the younger people in the community. Because if we have these senior citizens out here terrorizing the world, and then you have the regular people in our communities, having these little minor situations, why the hell are they lives ruined when we got this person who's been convicted of 34? That, and my mind is being blown. I'm not really buying into. You have to understand. In my home, I wasn't praying all the time, but we had the Bible, and we were very good people. We just focused on just being good people, playing by the rules. Maybe it was generational, because it was about survival. You play by the rules so you can survive and have a good life, But now, I just don't have faith in the justice system at all. And so this idea for me, when it's all over, I just want to excuse my French again. I just want to kick their ass out the damn government and act like they don't exist and keep it moving. I don't want to do another investigation about them, because they didn't do nothing a couple of years ago. He showed up and now he's sitting there. I don't want to do it. I want to just repair the damage. But if he plays about blackmail, somebody got to call his bluff. It's unheard of. You gotta send us. No, I don't. That is your town now. You own the damn banks. No, I'm not sending you a damn thing. I'm not doing it. I wish Chicago, New York City, San Francisco, California, Atlanta, everybody, don't send a damn thing to them. Let them get it from Elon if you want to get it.
I mean, Elon has the money. Elon is now in control of the Treasury.
Yeah.
All the access to all of our information.
Let him pay for their voters. And give them some crypto that don't go down and take all their money away, like it's been doing this past couple of weeks. So,
but give everything to the state. I mean, okay. Just like the Board of Education.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot tell y'all how many Kentucky. I saw a video today with this principal of this school. She is in one of the poorest districts, voted for Donald Trump. And they say it is one of the poorest towns in Kentucky, districts in Kentucky. And they voted for Donald Trump. 82 or 84% of them voted for Donald Trump. They don't even know how they're going to be able to feed their children, but they voted for Donald Trump.
And Miss Sunny, this is and I think that should be a new campaign. This is why I think I'm trying to think of it in the best way, because again, we're on YouTube. I think that the American people should put the government on pause, to be honest with you. That's what I'm aiming for. Whatever connections you have in your home, you don't got to get out, but the government should be put on notice. Like, I don't want to deal with you government at any level. I don't care about a speeding ticket or whatever it is. I don't want to deal with you on no level. For until you get your stuff together, I don't want to deal with you at all, because I'm not really respecting what you're talking about. These people are getting away with everything. I don't want to deal with you at all. Basically, I wish that there was a movement where we could put them on pause and they go, damn, they not paying, because it's all about money. If we get manipulated to give money and keep, we the ones that keep the government. If Elon's not putting money into the government, and neither is Trump, is us. We are what is it? We are funding the government. So I think that as American people, we should wake up and say, wait a minute. I can't fund these criminals. I need to step back and go, okay, let me make a list of all the things I'm doing. And if everybody's united, then I don't think there will be these consequences, because they threaten you. They go, oh, well, you got to pay that, you got to pay. But if there's millions and millions of people say a day off, I'm not doing this no more. No, I'm not doing nothing with the government. Y'all have to hear us. Because if it's just a group of people, then they will have some consequences. But if it's a big movement, and we put
right, you have to. So the Hispanics are marching, right? The Latinas and Latino people and the Mexicans or Hispanic people are marching because of immigration and deportation. Was it deportation? Getting deported. And thousands of people are marching all over. Here in Atlanta, there was a big march here today. It looked like thousands. The majority of women, Hispanic women, the majority voted for Kamala Harris. The majority of Hispanic men, Latino men voted for Donald Trump. And now they're getting deported, a lot of them. But it was a thin margin. Let me just say that. What was my point? But they are marching. And I had said to my husband, I said, I don't think protesting is going to stop anything, right? So protesting doesn't do anything. Really, you get your voice heard. You get your voice heard if you're lucky. I said you got to start putting your money to work. So if you're getting paid, so you know what? Target, Walmart, I won't be shopping there. I'm not giving you my money. Okay? Go to your city council. When your mayors are getting elected, you need to call what do you call it, a board or something, Mel?
The board of election.
Board of elections. Y'all need to get out there and you need to start calling these people that are representing your county and tell them, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. If you don't because I don't feel like you represent me in my constituents, okay? In your constituents, the people that help you, you got to put your money to work. I don't care if you make $5 an hour. I don't care if you make $7 an hour, $7.25, because that is right there. That is the minimum wage. It ain't getting higher because Donald Trump said no, they're not going to raise the minimum wage. So as these prices and inflation go up, people still making $7.25. To make that make sense, because they can pay you $7.25 as everything skyrockets. You can barely put gas in your car. Let's be real. Donald Trump is not going to give you a tax break on your tips. I read somewhere you're going to have to work so many hours to even get that break on your tips, or make so much a year to even get that not be taxed on your tips. You got to be smarter. You got to be smarter and spend your money wisely. I'm serious. Find out if you live in a rural area, a suburban area. Talk to somebody. You see somebody planting something, learn how to grow your vegetables. Do all that you can to save your money where they are not giving you money. Really, it was said 160 hours to get overtime. You got to work 160 hours just to get overtime. And see, some people live for overtime because they make extra money to survive. So now you're going to see a lot more homeless people, but they tell you, hold on, brace yourself, because we just got to go through hard time. These are billionaires telling you to brace yourself
while selling you
to go to the hard times,
and
trying to sell you
bad crypto.
Bad crypto.
You know what? I was thinking about the migrants. You know what? I was just when you was talking about. I heard about this situation. Maybe this is before my time. Cesar Chavez. He was helping the migrant workers in the 1965 to 1970s for the grape work. It was a grape strike. And I'm thinking that even what I think is so lovely about history, what lovely about history is that you do have evidence there for the civil rights movement and also for the migrants. Listen, I mean, at the end of the day, we all got to sit together. When I think of the migrants who were working in the fields for the grapes and the coffee, and they had wonderful people out there to help them, like Cesar Chavez, who was an activist. I think that there's power there. Like, listen, if I'm bringing a lot of value, even though, like I said, we have our own issues in our community, but I would just put this out there. If I'm bringing a lot of value, and the people coming in, the migrants coming in, they do bring a lot of value to America, billions of dollars for what they do. I probably would tell the owners, okay, we're going to strike. We're going to unify the people from Peru, the people from Cuba, the people from Mexico, wherever. We're going to actually, like you say, protest. We're going to get together and say, we are striking. We're striking against you being silent. You may not be a MAGA person, but allies and going forward, Miss Honey, in 2025, you can't be silent if you're an ally. That's just not going to work anymore.
No.
That's not going to work anymore. You can, I'm so sorry for you, but let me just be quiet because I'm getting a discount from this madman. No. If you're not actively helping, posting and contributing and giving spaces, then you know what? We have to protest you. If I'm a migrant person and I'm here and I'm going through the legal process to become whatever is going on, and I know I'm working, I'm contributing my value, my skills to somebody's business, then I'm going to protest you. I'm going to get together, and that's what I think these people need. They need people to combat Donald Trump, is to let these owners know, because the owners were getting, excuse my French again, the owners were getting into the political people ass, said, wait a minute, y'all ruining my business. Now, we're not talking about the migrants now. We're talking about people who are making millions or whatever dollars in this country. So they have to go to the local politicians and advocate, okay, for the people who may, be here with their legal, status issues or whatever. That's what I would tell migrants. They do have power. They do have power. I think we all have power too. And like I said earlier with the government, again, this is YouTube. And I believe in being, on top of everything and making sure everything is right and all that. But if you're living under a government that's a joke, okay, and they trying to brainwash the public, manipulate the public, hold things hostage, terrorize. Well, guess what? Well, we don't have to be like them, acting like crazy lunatics on January 6th a couple of years ago. But we can go, okay, if you want to play that game, then I want to tell you, government, on all levels, I'm putting you on pause right now for at least 30 days. I'm not dealing with you in any shape or way. I'm not sure that's going to happen. But if there was a movement of millions of people, they will feel it. They're like, damn. They shut down the IRS. They shut down this store. They shut down the DMV. The people are not playing with us. They're not showing up. They're not doing their appointments. They're not being threatened by us, because there's millions of people who are saying no. This is a Trump government, and it's not the same way as a Biden government. It's not the same way as a Bush government. Those governments, we play by the rules. Now we don't have rules to play by.
We don't have rules. The rules are gone. Hey, millions.
So, yeah. So if we don't have rules to play by, then we have to now, as a people, get together and say, okay, well, if they trying to be a hardship on us, well, how am I going to protect my family? Well, I think that's to protest the government. It's not overturning the government. It's to sit back and go, okay, well, the government depends on us to be like these sort of, these mindless people manipulated, going out there working and paying and working and paying and being manipulated and being sold. Oh, well, a hardship is a good thing. If you're not out here working 90 hours a week or whatever, then you're not an American. But people are disabled. People are blind. People have cerebral palsy. People are elderly. People are, veterans. There are whole groups of millions of people who are not going to be out there working in some damn Amazon place. Like they said, I think that one of these crazy businesses, they said, well, if you don't show up here at 5:30 in the morning tired and scared and work all the way to 9 o'clock at night, then you're not a worker. Elon got people coming in with some different type of visa that's not the one that the migrants are working for. It's another one where they can get you in here from, Thailand or wherever, and you can work there for about, 21 hours, like crazy, like you're in a sweatshop.
Isn't that the H-1B visa?
That's that one, yeah. And you can work in these ungodly hours, ungodly conditions, be harassed. Me Too movement goes out the window for those poor women, okay? And you don't have no recourse. So this, listen, no, put these damn people on pause, But I think that has to be the movement. The movement has to be that, because guess what? Then if they feel the pain and we've been, we can chill out a little bit, but there has to be a conversation about that. Really do.
Mel MC, she says, I'm not sure how everyone is not scared of AF right now. He has proven he thinks he's a dictator. Yeah, he's just implementing everything from to his agenda, which is basically Project 2025, and it always has been his agenda. He was able to buy and get in and say that, I have no parts of Project 2025, and all he's been implementing is Project 2025.
And I think too, for me, good politics is not blackmail. Good politics is being diplomatic. And he don't know about how to be diplomatic with nobody around the global world. He wanted to threaten them with these tariffs and stuff like that. He's threatening and manipulating American people. At a certain point, people are going to start blackmailing him right on back, or they're going to be aggressive with him right back.
But we knew that was going to happen. Here's the problem that I have. I have an issue with Mark Zuckerberg. I have an issue with Elon Musk, right?
They sold out.
Bezos, I have an issue with him, but he doesn't own, far as I know, he owns the newspaper now. What is it? The Washington Post or something like that he owns?
Yeah.
Here's the thing the issue is Mark Zuckerberg is allowing people to come in and say whatever they want to say when it comes to a right-wing media. And when it comes to left-wing or liberal media, he's not having it. He is literally, if you go to your IG account and you go through it, you're going to see stuff that is repeated over and over and over again. And I've been noticing it. It's like nothing new. It's the old, I'm seeing a lot of old repetitive stuff that I've already seen before. And I was looking at that today and I was like, something is off with the algorithm. So he's making the algorithm bounce where you're not really seeing new information.
Right.
Okay. And like I said, I read where a girl was saying that she had a foundation set up for Black men who were come from the impoverished areas or whatever, and she was trying to give them information that would help them come into a community center or whatever it was to help them get ahead, get a step forward in life. They came in and they told her this was going against Facebook's guidelines. So she rebutted and said, no, this, and this. And they took down the site. They took down her Facebook page and said she was going against the guidelines. So Mark Zuckerberg is a little man. Okay. And he's paying for his friendship with Donald Trump. Period. He's scary. He always been a little scary man. And he's a scary little fool, little asswipe to sit there and do something like that. In my opinion, it was for Black men. That was her foundation. It was something that she came up with to help Black men who come from certain areas that are behind in life. And she was trying to help them have a step forward.
Yeah.
And he took that down.
Well,
so y'all to go to Fan Base, y'all go to Blue Sky. And there will be more apps, I'm sure, that is going to give us information. And I was talking about when you go to the news, go to the BBC. When it comes to the medical issues and the CDC, because they're not going to put anything on the CDC, y'all. I'm just telling y'all. When the stuff hit the fan, because what this man wants to do is not let another pandemic, because he's not thinking sure the way he's thinking, I'm not going to let another pandemic hit me while I'm in office. So wipe all that stuff clean. Make sure the CDC doesn't put anything up there that alerts the American people that there are diseases out here floating around that can affect them every single day, or they can get sick, whatever. Not that. I don't want that to be seen. I don't want to be heard. They're going to start controlling everything that you hear. They're about to have a straight right-wing media that caters to Donald Trump. They are getting ready right now. When they say we're going to get bloggers and YouTubers and podcasters, all right-wing media. We're gonna see when he gets up, they're gonna have all these political passes to come in and speak and listen and ask questions, right? With his little 27-year-old girlfriend as the secretary. What you call the press secretary? Okay, so this is what they're doing. And y'all need to go to the Midas Touch. Y'all need to go to anything that's connected to the Midas, because the Midas Touch is going to give you a lot of information. Go to
Tabitha Speaks
Politics. She gives out information, but she gets a lot of her information as well from Midas Touch. Midas Touch is more legal. They're gonna break it down but
there's another one I like too, because
Politics is really good too.
I called you and I told you, I said, the Democratic chair, and I got that from remember this man's name is Ben. He's a lawyer. He has a big thing where he talks to a lot of Democratic people too. He's a good one. But I was listening to a couple podcasts. We're talking about podcasts, and they were saying basically the African American community and other communities, we basically have to cultivate a different way of communicating. Because that's why I picked to listen to chat. I picked to listen to chat with the Roosevelt Institute, and I think the CAP Institute and those other places. I put it in the chat because those places are good places to contact people that's safe, where you can end up communicating with different people and stuff like that, where you can get more information and how you can connect with other people, because you kind of want to connect with people offline. And then you want to, some people say even start your own like newsletters. Newsletters are good. Just different ways that's not going to be on Instagram and stuff like that. You can use your Instagram, but if you really want to go deep, toes down, and really want to be, all that, it might be good to have a newsletter. Get connected to a newsletter you trust. That's what I do. I mean, I've done a lot of stuff since the election. I'm subscribed to many newsletters now. I'm subscribed to different things on different platforms now that are not YouTube based and not Instagram based and not Twitter based. I found other places that you
have to Twitter, IG, what's that other little thing? TikTok.
Instagram? Oh yeah,
TikTok, IG, Twitter, and TikTok. Those cannot be, and Facebook. Those cannot be your places, because now they control those spaces. Okay. Yeah. And you're not going to get the information that you were getting before. They will tell you on TikTok to block IG, block Facebook, just so your algorithm can kick back in. But once he gets control of that, TikTok and because he already has control of IG, Zuckerberg, IG, TikTok, WhatsApp, and all that.
WhatsApp.
So you're the best bet. I'm telling you guys, go to Al Jazeera for your news. Al Jazeera for your news. PBS if they don't take them down, because they're talking about taking PBS down. What else did I say? BBC, international news is going to give you the truth of what's happening around the world. That's just what it is. I wouldn't trust CNN, MSNBC, none of that. I wouldn't trust that, because they are becoming far right as well. Okay? We love our Joys and all those people. Yeah, we love it. Go to Don Lemon. Don Lemon has a new YouTube channel. If you haven't been watching him, Don Lemon is almost at 500,000 followers. The Unlimited is speaking his mind, and he is telling the truth, and he ain't playing with it. Okay, NPR is good. Yeah, NPR was reliable. I thought they might be trying to take down NPR too. I thought NPR was reliable. They tend to give factual news, but all these mainstream media news places, it ain't it. If you want to start a YouTube channel, when I drop the link and you want to come up, if you don't feel like you want to start a news channel, you can always come up. I'm going to start dropping the link even more for people to come up and just speak your mind. What is going on? You got to speak out, and you got to stay engaged. You do not want to step back out of the madness, because that's how they get us.
So can I go down? So can
Rachel Maddow is good. She speaks the truth.
Yeah. So can I go down a list real quick of what I did after election? I'm gonna do it real quick so that I make it because I like to say this. So after election, what I always tell people is to, before the election, after election, call your local board of election. Please do. Make sure you protect your vote. You want to make sure that you're registered. You want to make sure sometime during these elections, they say, oh, I was registered, but by the time the primary came up, it was not registered, the address changed. You want to call them at least every 6 months just to make sure everything's on point, everything's good, especially if you feel like people are messing with you. Call your local board of election. When you get the board of election, you want to ask them about your local official. They can look up the people in your community. If you don't know who your local senator, governor is, whatever, you ask them, because you want to ask them, how can you join your local community boards? Local community boards are where they want to put people at to try to mess up things with your streets and stuff like that. You want to try to join your local community boards. When you go to your local, and I put the things in the chat too, when you go to think tanks, and when you go to different organizations that align with your political views, like you did, Miss Honey, when you was going out there knocking on doors and stuff like that, you meet other people. For us, it's safer that way. Like we talked about on the phone, the Green Book back in the day for African American people, it was the idea that they would give a book to each other so they would know what roads were safe to go, so they wouldn't have issues with the Ku Klux Klan. Now you ain't talking about that. I want to think about that, but we're talking about meeting each other in person, meeting the politicians in person, and then there you're saying, oh, do you have a newsletter? Here's my email. You can even make up a new email, okay? That's not spam with all the crap that the people put in. You make up a new email specifically for your political, like I did. Make up a new email that's focused on your political motivation, so you can sign up for newsletters. You can give the people that you meet in these political spaces. Now you're talking to people about, like we're talking about tonight, in person. And then over time, that can build up. You can build up different platforms like a Station Head, a Discord, or whatever. Those places are safe because you can lock it up, and then you can, vet the people before they come into it. So the different things that African American, LGBT, immigrants, and people are doing when they feel like they can't have these conversations publicly on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You got to get out there. You got to talk. Now, we got 2 years, okay, before these next elections are coming up. So we have time to really work on this kind of stuff. And that's kind of what I've been doing. And now I've tried a couple of organizations. It wasn't a fit for me because they were more focused on things that is not. I'm more focused on disabled people, African American women's health. That's the biggest thing. That devastated my own family. A Black woman getting treatment and getting it correctly. Okay, that's where my heart goes to, and that's under attack big time under this administration. So that's where I go to. My heart goes out to immigrants, but it's that surge and that cause is not really mainstream. So I got to really hunt down the brothers and sisters that really want to have this conversation. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. But whatever is important to you, you write it down, you focus on it, and then you ask your local officials, who can I talk to? This is what's concerning me. Also, every time something happens I don't understand that goes on in the news, I call my local senators and say, I'm seeing this on the news about project. Every time there was something scary that happened on the news with everything, the government shut down or anything he does, I call the local officials. And everything they told me was on point. I don't know how they knew it, but the fear from the news, which is like you said, CNN, all that, they do that just to make more money and more views, to scare the people. If 9 times out of 10, when you call your local people, they will break it down better for you in person than the news will. Okay. So if you're scared, like I think somebody had worried about their benefits or the pension, please call on Monday your local people with your fears, because they actually can go deep into your account if you get permission. They can look into it. They can advocate for you. They can do everything if they are, politically what you like, the Democrat and all that. So that's a whole lot. But I've done this for years. So That's what I would tell people. It is a lot out there to do, and you don't have to be on the street too. That's another thing, especially for certain communities. If you're trans, if you're African American, if you feel under attack, don't be outside. Just do your work from the inside. You can join different clubs. Your vote counts, because you don't even have to vote. Well, you're voting for the election, but you're also voting for other things that you want to join. So you don't have to be out there, and that actually makes them matter, because you're not going to be screaming and hollering. You won't be an easy target. You want to be safe.
Right. But that's why I say protesting in the street is fine, but it's about your money, because they're about money. And I know one thing that moves people, that's like Harriet Tubman, not Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm not sitting in the back today. My feet are tired and I'm sitting right here. And
Right.
when they decided, you know what, we're going to boycott getting on this bus. Okay. And what happened?
Right.
Those black folks walked to work and they did what they had to do. They got rides and they walked to work. They did not ride the bus. And then what happened? They said, okay, black people, y'all can sit in front of the bus. Y'all can sit anywhere y'all want to on this bus, because it's always been about money.
Money.
So we are going back, because the golden age is 1950s. That's what I just read. That's the golden age. That's what Trump is trying to get back to, the golden age of 1950s. And people of color were not, held to a certain standard. They were not on the equal playing grounds. I'm just putting that out there, because I want people to understand, if this man's mind is the golden age, and this is the era that he wants to go back to, that means women won't have any rights. Okay, because women didn't start voting until when? When did the women were able to vote? I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you what they didn't have. They couldn't get a credit card, nor could they get a bank account. Okay, until the 80s. That's a fact. That blew my mind too when I saw that, read about that. So Donald Trump wants to go back to 1950, the golden age. As black people and the people of color in this country, he is telling you, this is where we're going back. We're not even going to the 80s or the 70s. We're going back to the 50s. That's where you want to go? Well, we ain't doing that. And so when Kamala Harris was running, what did she say? We are not going back. Hell would have to freeze over before I go all the way back to the 1950s. My ancestors didn't die for this bullshit. I ain't sitting in the back of nobody's goddamn bus. I don't ride the bus, but I ain't getting on one, and I ain't gonna sit in the back. That's real talk. Okay, I'm not living by no Jim Crow laws. I'm not doing that.
You're not messing up our neighborhoods. You're not denying me for no loans. You're not messing up my business.
We're not gonna have that. But what I will do is I will take my money where it is appreciated. That's what I will do. I haven't been shopping in Target. I never really shopped at Target because I thought Target stuff was overpriced. They had cute stuff. I would go there every once in a while to go during Black History Month to buy like a sweatshirt or something some person made or whatever, but designer had made. But I don't shop at Target. I don't shop at Walmart anymore. I do go to Publix when I need to get certain things that we eat, because we are pescatarians over here in this house, and we don't eat a lot of if we're not eating fish, we get something, and I'll make tacos or whatever with impossible meat. But we don't eat a lot of that stuff either. But when I had a craving for it, that's where I go. Because Publix is but I know one thing about Publix, and that's just talking to the people that work there at Publix. She gives back to the people that work there. She is a Trump supporter, unfortunately, but she does give back. They have stock in her company, and she treats her employees very well. And I have talked to many of those employees, and a lot of them are of color here in the Atlanta area. So, I talk to everybody, just so y'all know. Anybody that knows me knows I will talk to everybody, because I want to get a gauge on what people are thinking. So anyway, you go to your local farmers markets and you shop there. Those are mainly farmers markets or mom and pop shops, so to speak. These are people who have farms. These are people who, if you got to go out your way to do it, I suggest go out your way and do it. My husband now said, I'm gonna get rid of my Sam's card. We're gonna go to Costco. Costco is 18 miles from where we live. So now he's like, We're going to go to Costco. We got to go 18 miles, and that's what we'll do. We'll go to Costco. We're going to spend our money where it is appreciated. I'm telling you, as white women out there, I suggest you jump on that bandwagon because, like I said earlier, white women benefit more than any other person from DEI and affirmative action. Okay. So it's just not people of color that Donald Trump and his new administration wants to stop from achieving goals. It's white women as well. So I don't understand why 56% of white women went out and voted for Kamala Harris when she had over 200,000 people that sit up on her Zoom call. But I digress. And I'm just going to move past that now. I'm not happy about it, but let's move past it. Let's try to find some type of connection here where we do not get stuck with this man and his Project 2025 agenda that he is pushing for and his executive orders that is getting rid of our civil rights. Okay. So like I said, protesting is one thing. Your money and where you spend your dollars is another. And remember, it is your hard-earned money. It's yours. You spend your money. If you got to go to a Kroger's, if you have to go to a Publix, if there's out there, if you have to go to any person or any company that, when it comes to buying necessities, just purchase the necessities. I'm suggesting not to spend your money in places where these people do not represent you and where these people do not, have your back. Okay. I have a video out where I talk about going to certain places who gave more money to Kamala Harris Foundation, to Kamala Harris's campaign, and that supported the Democratic Party versus Donald Trump's party. We call it Project 2025 because we knew that his whole campaign was Project 2025, although he said it wasn't. Now we see that it is. Now a lot of you all see that it is. Okay. So anything else you want to say, Mel? Because I am going to read something.
Oh, nope, that's it. All right. I'm going to say have a good night. It was a good show.
Oh, thank you, Mel. Mm-hmm. I appreciate you coming up.
Okay.
Okay. So let's see if I can get this on the screen here. Maybe not. So I want to talk about, before I end this show, I want to talk about, this is Black History Month, and I'm going to talk about a Canadian woman by the name of Angelique. So on April, and she is now on the Canadian stamp. So on April 10, 1734, a fire broke out in Montreal that engulfed much of the city's merchants' quarter. Dozens of buildings and homes burned down. Angelique, a 29-year-old enslaved Black woman, was arrested. It was alleged that she lit the fire to escape her enslaver after learning she had been sold and would be sent to the West Indies. Her trial lasted several weeks and included more than 20 witnesses, although not one believed to have seen the crime committed. Most accused Angelique because she had tried to escape before, and they said that she had a history of rebelling against and threatening her enslaver. Angelique maintained her innocence throughout the trial. Madam, although I may be wicked, I am not miserable enough to do an act like that, she said during her interrogation. However, the courts found her guilty. They condemned her to death and had her tortured to force a confession. On June 21st, 1734, she was publicly hanged. Although historians disagree on whether Angelique was guilty, her story continues to encourage ongoing conversations about racial equity or racial equality justice, and the importance of acknowledging the complexities of Canada's past. So somebody had talked about Ms. Angelique being on the stamp in Canada and them honoring her and her fight for her freedom, although she was executed. But she is on the stand. She's a pretty woman. I don't know why I can't pull it up, but I will put it in my community tab. So I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Trish, thank you for being here. H-Tub, thank you for being here. Mel MC, thank you. Mel NYC, thank you for being here. Mel NYC Reviews. And you all, Mel is deep into politics now. And we talk about a lot of things. And if you want to reach out to me on my, Trish, and I am and didn't know any of that. Oh, you're a Canadian, yeah. So if you all have anything that you want to say to me in private or whatever, you can always reach out to me on my IG page. It is Tell the People with Sunny, and same logo. And I'll respond when I see it. I'm on there, but I'll probably be getting off Instagram too and moving on to probably fan base or something. But H-Tub said, do not obey in advance. Exactly. Yeah, because a lot of times people send stuff to me and say, oh, Miss Sunny, look at this. And so I do and talk about it. But y'all, we are in serious times. And like Kamala Harris said, we are not going back. We're not going backwards. The world is not about going backwards. We ain't aging backwards. So why the hell will we go backwards? Okay. All right. I will love on you guys later. I will see you next Sunday. And in the meantime, in between time, I will be dropping videos. And just remember, stay positive. Keep your head up. Okay. Thank you, Trish, very much. Keep your head up. Don't get caught up in the madness of Donald Trump. FOTUS, felon of the United States of America. Okay. Yeah, have a good night. Love you guys.